A couple of weeks ago, I was in San Francisco where I tried the autonomous driving robot Waymo for the first time. It was really such a cool experience where like this autonomous car, robot taxi comes and picks you up in point A and brings you to point B through the whole city. It felt already like the future is here. We are seeing that more and more of it in the field of robotics. Now also the GTC, which we had a few weeks ago in California, we've introduced the humanoid robots, and this will bring, another level of help. Think of some places like dangerous zones where you cannot send a human, but then you will be fully relying on humanoid robots here. So the field is definitely growing.
Welcome back to Wise on Air, the show where we talk to the world's leading minds on the future of education. My name is Bassem Hijazi, producer of the show. Imagine a future where AI tutors personalized learning for every student, where machines grade homework and provide instant feedback, freeing up teachers to focus on higher level instruction. This future may be closer than you think. The recent 2024 GTC AI conference showcased the incredible advancements in the technology, offering a glimpse into the trajectory of this rapidly evolving field. NVIDIA, arguably the world's leader in AI innovation, introduced the Blackwell platform, a groundbreaking development that enables organizations to build and run real-time generative AI on trillion-parameter large language models at up to 25 times less cost and energy consumption than its predecessor. To put this into perspective, imagine a library with 1 trillion books, and now picture a system that can read, understand, and generate new content based on all that information while using a fraction of the resources previously required. This breakthrough opens the door for more widespread adoption of AI in various industries, including education. Moreover, NVIDIA announced Project Groot, a general-purpose foundation model for humanoid robots. These advancements in robotics and embodied AI have the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with machines as a whole. Think of it as giving robots a brain that allows them to understand and navigate the world around them, much like how humans learn and adapt to their environment. In recent news, GPT-4 Omni by OpenAI has taken the world by storm. This advanced language model accepts any combination of text, audio, image, and video as input and is able to respond in real time. Imagine having a conversation with a computer that can not only understand and respond to your words, but also analyze the facial expressions you make while responding at a speed that rivals human conversation. Innovations in such technologies like GPT-4Os are built on the bedrock of advancements in accelerated computing. With such technologies continuing to advance at an unprecedented pace, it's clear that we are on the cusp of a transformative era in education. What will the trajectory for learning in schools be when this technology goes mainstream? In this episode of Wise on Air, we delve into the heart of this revolution with Katja Sirazitdinova, Senior Deep Learning Data Scientist at NVIDIA. As someone working at the forefront of this technology's development, she has unique insights and expertise into the transformations we should come to expect. Now let's join WISE Director and host of this episode, Elyas Felfoul, in conversation with Katja to get a glimpse of what those front and center are thinking when it comes to deep learning, AI, and its implications on our world.
Katja, I am super happy to have this conversation with you. I have been following some of the work you've been doing. I've been watching a lot of videos. I know you're passionate about robotics, about AI. But I want to take you back a few years ago. I want to get you back to Katja in the school. Were you an A+ student?
I would say yes. And I got lucky enough to be in a very good school. And the environment was great. So we had a perfect sense of community at the school, and the teachers were super, super helpful and very motivating. And it kind of naturally developed the skill and passion for learning. So yeah, I had really great relationships with school. I grew up in Russia, and we were having such a thing called Olympiads, where basically school students can compete in different subjects. And I've participated in so many of those in different subjects, and it was also very motivating, and it kept the desire to learn. Maybe like the competitive component was also important there.
And did you have, when you did all these Olympiads, did you have like a super champion teacher that spotted you and believed in you, or you spotted a teacher that you wanted to have like a mentor? What was the relationship with teacher, and what was the relationship with the schools from primary to secondary to higher ed?
Yeah, definitely teachers were very helpful. So they would see school kids having some abilities, and they would enhance it. They would motivate us. They would say, yeah, you should definitely participate. And they wouldn't even mind having some extra classes to coach us how to prepare for this Olympiad. So that was super helpful. And I won't be tired to say that I'm so happy with the school I went to.
I want to ask you a question, but we're still at school, okay? We're still at Katja, young Katja. I remember in the part of the world where I grew up, is we had a lot of questions. What do you want to be when you get old? Did you have a sense that you will end up in this field 10 years, 12 years old, when I'm pretty sure people were supposed to asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up, Katja? Did you had a sense that you're gonna end up in this role?
To make the picture clear, these days I work at AI, the cutting edge of technology, and from that perspective, back in the day, AI wasn't a thing. So I definitely didn't have in mind that I will be working in AI. And if everybody would ask me, yeah, what is AI? I wouldn't even know what to answer. So definitely not. I was hesitant between different fields. So when I was at school, I also I mentioned the Olympiads. I was also participating in Olympiads in literature, in Russian language, and I liked writing. So I was thinking like maybe I can become a journalist. But then at some point, I was also good at technical fields like mathematics and computer science. And at the point when I was to decide which university to choose, I went for computer science.
Yeah, and then the path took you to deep dive into the computer science, the research element. When you started university, how much this was driven by a deep, interest in understanding at a much more developed way, uh, technology when you started university?
I'll be completely honest with you. Back at that age, I wouldn't necessarily have like really ambitious goals of like becoming a super computer scientist. I just picked the field I was confident in. I felt like, yeah, okay, I'm good at mathematics, so I'll go and study computer science. And also, well, the path to AI was not that straightforward. When I started studying, actually, my first university degree was in business informatics. So I studied the equal portion of computer science, but also economics. And then throughout this study, I felt that I'm kind of more inclined towards computer science. So I went and I did my master's in media informatics with a deeper focus on computer science. But even during my master's, I was more into actually web development and human computer interactions. And at some certain point, it was a pure chance which actually led me to AI. I needed to do a seminar, and I didn't get a place in the seminar which I chose. So then a fellow student has actually offered me his topic, and it just happened to be a seminar in image processing. Back in the day, it was not AI as well, but I did this seminar and I somehow did exceptionally well in this seminar, so that it led me to writing a master thesis in this chair of medical image processing. And I also did well in the master thesis, and then they offered me a PhD position there. And then the whole field of image processing and computer vision, it converged towards AI, and that's why I'm working in AI, basically by pure chance, I would say.
I guess it's a bit of chance, but also a bit of uh, natural progress of the field. Because, as you mentioned, I mean, nobody knew that AI would get to where it is now, and I guess the deep knowledge of research, your passion for mathematics, naturally got you to be in this super advanced new technology. For most of people that have been talking to AI, what captured people's imagination when it comes to AI, it's what we know from OpenAI and ChatGPT. How much sincerely you knew about AI way before, before this massive buzz that started with OpenAI when they launched their stuff? How much you knew that this is a potential extremely powerful tool and technology that has a power to transform our life?
So the whole AI buzz started, 1.5 years ago in 2022. After ChatGPT became extremely popular. But of course, I've been working in AI for more years, and my first experience with AI was, I would say, in the year 2016, when I was working, doing my PhD, and that's when, the fields were starting to converge. I would say everybody started using convolutional neural networks for the tasks of image processing, like segmentation, detection, classification. And I was working in the field of healthcare. So back in the institute where I was working, we started applying AI for tasks of ocular redness classification. So, and then, I continued working in AI in my previous job. I was in R&D, also for medical image processing, where I was working on tasks of digital pathology and radiology, applying AI to these fields. And that led me to NVIDIA, to my current role.
This is fantastic, Katya, because you basically knew that specifically for healthcare. I always use it, by the way. I always use the case study of healthcare with the integration of technology and healthcare. And when I compare to education, we're far away. I mean, luckily we have a much better integration of technology in healthcare, because it is concretely saving more lives. It is concretely making the life of doctor, the daily routine of doctors and administrator much better. However, I do understand that most people, and I know you have a passion for robotic, right? I want to touch upon a bit of this topic before getting into the education and learning and AI. How is it going to affect? Uh, we got to understand that AI could be used in robotic, but not in cognitive task, creative task, or at least with OpenAI, what's happening now is almost the opposite. We feel that AI is actually advancing much quicker in the cognitive aspect and the creative aspect, and we see it with just the application of ChatGPT or other OpenAI tools, and yet we're still lacking super advancement in the robotic, such as driverless trucks or other stuff. So, where do you position yourself when it comes to the cognitive advancement of AI and the robotic advancement? And tell us a little bit, what do you see the latest? You're passionate about robotics, so just give us a little bit of your kind of perspective on this.
So here I must say that robotics is not the only field I'm working in, and I've been also working in all kinds of fields, including generative AI and multimodal generative AI for content creation and content understanding. So robotics is just one of the fields I follow and I support. And honestly, I would disagree with you saying that robotics is falling behind, because well, the advancements we see are enormous. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was in San Francisco where I've tried the autonomous driving robot Waymo for the first time. It was really such a cool experience where like this autonomous car, robot taxi comes and picks you up in point A and brings you to point B through the whole city. It felt already like the future is here. And we are seeing that more and more of it in the field of robotics. Now also the GTC, which we had a few weeks ago in California, we've introduced the humanoid robots, and this will bring, another level of help to people. Think of some places like dangerous zones where you cannot send a human, but then you will be fully relying on humanoid robots here. So the field is definitely growing.
All right, going back to education now, and I'd love to hear your perspective on, you know, AI is disrupting the field. We folks that work in education technology, we've been struggling in bringing to the to the educators and then folks that are on the ground this mindset of this tool is going to help you or potentially could help you if we use it well. But it's been very difficult. And I understand it's difficult because folks are overwhelmed. It's not that easy to just change tools every things are moving so fast. According to you, what are some of the things that could easily be implemented, and what are some of the things that we should pay attention and start building knowledge in order to successfully and smoothly get them into our education system?
So first of all, I think that this AI technologies, generative AI, make knowledge more accessible, and we should definitely leverage this fact. It's impossible to give a personal tutor for every student on the planet. However, with the advancement of AI, it's becoming possible now. In that scenario, all the students can get access to any information, and this is becoming super helpful. We're getting co-pilots everywhere, like which help us taking notes, summarize content. Then as a student, and not only as a student, but like every person who has to write something or do creative tasks, we all know the thing like a writer's block. And I believe that with the current advancement of AI, this is no longer a problem. Like whenever I need to start writing a new document, I just ask some seeding questions of a large language model, and then it already gives me some bullet points on which I can expand. So I definitely see AI as a big helper also in education.
And specifically about deep learning, are you able to share with us, with the audience, some of the huge advantages that are going to come out of the deep learning if we integrate them in our education system?
So deep learning is a subset of AI, right? And by what we understand by deep learning is basically we have our neural networks, which are able to learn patterns from the data. And with generative AI, these neural networks are extremely large. That's why we call them large language models. And that's basically the core of AI, deep learning in generative AI, right? And with these large language models, we train them on huge amounts of data, like to the scale of the whole internet. And the whole knowledge of the whole internet is stored in these models. And then using these models, you're able to generate new content. You're able to fine-tune the model. The process of adapting this neural networks, we call it fine-tuning or task adaptation. So you're able to adapt these neural networks to perform different kinds of tasks, be it your personal chat assistant, be it a question answering system, or you can think of the whole variety of use cases.
I'm particularly super intrigued and interested by two things that could come out of this. So the skills measurement I think we're able to do this much more effectively, and the personalized learning path. We see this at least now at an advanced stage of education. We see this at the stage that is connecting education to employment. So, some higher education institution, or even corporation that are integrating training based on that. Any comments on this? And first of all, any comments on the personalized learning and the skills assessment?
Yeah, definitely AI will play a great role there, because with the multimodal systems where we get like different kinds of inputs, be it an image data, be it text data, you can then analyze this all, and you can provide some solutions for problems based on all kinds of data. And then, like in this scenario, we can take a student, we can take their performance on some tasks, their attention level in some tasks. So we can even see like what was the mood of the student during when the teacher was explaining one or another topic, and kind of correlate it with whether the student was interested in this topic or not. So the field is really, really broad, and you can definitely think of many use cases here.
How can we keep our humanity while we're counting? So for example, I have an Aura ring.
Mhm.
And I know it's separate from education, but it
Yeah.
capture my sleep. I'm worried now
Mhm.
that I check if I sleep well because of this ring. Are we? How is this gonna affect us in the education field? Isn't it weird that we're gonna every time rely on a machine to tell us the performance, and where is the balance between us as human and the performance and the of the machine?
I think it's enhancing our knowledge of ourselves and the world. And well, that's the example with the ring. I also always keep track of my Apple Watch when I sleep, and like I'm crazy about all the sensor data I'm getting. I can totally see that. It makes you addicted, but it kind of also provides you more information about yourself, like your habits. You learn, like, for example, the correlation between your activities during the day and the quality of your sleep, right? For example. So I find it very useful, actually. And I think in the education, it's just the tutors, they spend enormous amount of time checking homeworks, writing feedback. What if we can just take this time and rely on machines for that? Then tutors get their time back on something more meaningful. They can spend this time in advancing their soft skills, becoming better communicators. So I definitely see AI as a helping body, and not something which makes education human less less humane.
So I've been talking to a lot of people in working with AI, and most of folks who are at OpenAI or NVIDIA or other company, they're very bullish on the technology, but also they're very bullish on the fact that this is maybe an equalizer for our society and bring in the global south and global north together. Do you really feel that this technology would make everyone's life better, and not only the most privileged one?
Of course, and as I mentioned, also like as AI democratizing knowledge, and it will democratize many aspects of our lives. And if I wouldn't agree on that, I wouldn't be working in the field.
Well, that's a powerful answer. So there is a level of conviction that you're part of an industry that is making everyone's life better, and you're supporting that transformation for the better.
For sure, for sure.
I want to ask you. I think there is a level of admiration about NVIDIA across the world right now. So first of all, do you have your own education training, or you work with partners? Just highlight to us a little bit, because you guys are in a unique industry. You're creating the future. So I don't know how much you're gonna learn from another institution. So I want to understand the training part, the education part. How does it work in a place like NVIDIA?
When it comes to technical skills, well, we do create content ourselves. We also have our deep learning institute, for example, where we actually educate also other companies and other individuals. We learn a lot from each other by organizing some internal knowledge sharing sessions. From that perspective, we are not short of content.
Perfect. What will be the most important skills for young people today?
So I usually say that people should focus on learning whatever makes them excited about, and it doesn't have to be AI, for example, because well, first of all, AI is everywhere, and getting AI skill, I believe it's inevitable. It's like everybody knows how to use mobile phones or search engines. We don't go to classes to learn that. And I believe in the future, everybody will be an AI user without specifically learning for that. And not everybody has to be an AI developer to be a good AI user, right? Well, if you're passionate about technical skills, I always recommend to get a good understanding of mathematics and programming, developing your logical skills. I still think it's very important in every field, actually, not necessarily a technical field, because critical reasoning and problem solving skill is very useful in every field, I believe.
I'm fascinating about. Yeah, I've been talking to my nieces and nephews. They are studying their universities, and I'm saying, like, whatever you're gonna do, you just need to have an understanding of where technology is going. If you're doing law, great, but you gotta understand what's happening in AI and all these disruptive technology that are coming super fast. But it's very hard, even me as like, they look at me as a figure of, someone with. I'm their favorite uncle, so I'm trying to give them advice, but I'm lacking knowledge to give them the right advice. Where can we get those information about learning about AI? I know it's not an easy question, but what is concretely, or how concretely we can collectively have a better understanding of AI?
We are very fortunate these days because the community around AI is so large. So it's actually quite easy to find information about AI. You go on YouTube, you find so many videos about like fundamentals of deep learning, and then you can expand on the topics of AI, the topics of your interest, or you search in any search engine, and then there will be so many blog posts on platforms like Medium, where people also share their knowledge. I mean, it's definitely a skill, like finding like from out of this sea of knowledge, finding the right sources. But I think it can be developed, this skill. So once you start doing that, you get it better and better. And then also there are online learning platforms where they offer like structured materials. As I also mentioned, our NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute, we have also some content there and introductory levels, but also advanced level courses. And there are many similar platforms. So definitely it's the best time to start learning AI if you want to do that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things missing from a curation, because there's so much information, and I guess young people that are not super passionate or in the field of technology would find it hard to find the right information.
And
but it is. Yeah.
Here is where we can rely on things like ChatGPT. Like you can ask ChatGPT for a curriculum, and it will write a good curriculum for you, and you'll get the keywords, and you'll know what to search for. That's a great example of how these tools can be used in education.
Is school obsolete now? Do you feel we're getting into a point where schools are almost obsolete? What's your opinion on?
I don't believe so. I think school as an institution is still very important. First of all, as I mentioned also in the beginning, what I valued a lot in my school is the environment and the sense of community. You won't learn the skill of communicating to people and being in the community by just sitting at home and learning using virtual tools. So it's great to be in the school just from this perspective, but also having teachers is good. So teachers, educators, they won't disappear. I see the role of an educator in the future is more of a mentor or a role model who will guide you and who will give you a positive example. I don't think it will disappear.
Interesting. We spoke to a founder a couple of weeks ago, and he was completely the opposite. He was, school is not anymore, teaching the right things. And I find myself in the middle of this, but I find it interesting that you're at the other extreme where I, I think, in my view, and according to the observation we've been having, we need to have a much better training of teachers to make sure that they provide the right information to the kids, and maybe the role of curation of the information, because there's so much amazing information out there, and maybe that's where AI could come and support this role.
We definitely see AI as not a replacement of a teacher, but a powerful assistant. And those educators who will learn how to use it, they will succeed, of course, and they will have the advantage. Think of like the healthcare, right? When we have radiologists, they analyze let's say digital pathology scans to detect cancer, and they're very skilled and efficient at that. AI at some point is also getting better and better, but also not 100% accuracy. But then when we combine the skill of radiologists and AI, it's getting almost 100%. And this improvement of having it almost 100%, it's not a small incremental improvement. It's a substantial, and it helps saving lives. And we can call it as a superhuman abilities, right? So I think also teacher with AI will have superhuman abilities in teaching, and will be able to focus on what's more important.
I have two last questions. The first last question is segue to your comments. We heard that through this technology, we could become 10, 20 times more productive. What's your take on this?
For sure. we will definitely get more productive, and it will help us to free some time. And in this free time, we'll be able to generate new ideas and solve new problems and create new problems. So I definitely see AI as a force which brings us towards progress and better productivity.
And my final question, Katja, is what does a deep learning powered school look like in the distant future? What's your prediction?
So we'll have teachers who are very confident in using AI. We'll have co-pilots which help students in learning, and maybe education years will be shorter. Who knows?
Do we still need to go to a physical space?
I think yes, because as I said, by meeting with other human beings, we develop also social skills. And for now, I don't see AI being able to replace this component.
I hope not. I really enjoyed the conversation, Katja. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.